You ever notice when something just feels off? Like when you walk into your house and everything looks exactly the same couch, same pictures on the wall, same scent of laundry detergent in the air, but somehow it doesn't feel right. That's how it started for me. Nothing obvious. No lipstick on a collar. No strange perfume. Just the still feeling in my gut. Like a song that's just slightly out of tune. It all came to a head because of a toothbrush. Yeah, a toothbrush. I'd been out of town for work, 3 days in Columbus for some safety training thing. Not exactly glamorous. I came home Sunday evening, tired, craving takeout and the sound of my own bed. I dropped my bags by the door, kicked off my boots, and went straight to the bathroom to splash some water on my face. That's when I saw it. There were 2 toothbrushes in the cup by the sink. Mine, blue, and another one, gray. Now here's the thing. My wife, Rachel, has used the same green toothbrush brand since college. She buys them in packs of 4 and lines them up like soldiers in the cabinet. She's consistent about everything. Schedules, groceries, how she folds towels. So seeing a random gray toothbrush in our bathroom, that was like finding a stranger's sock on your nightstand. Small, but it meant something. I didn't say anything right away. Just stood there, staring at the thing like it might speak. When Rachel got home from yoga, I played it cool. "Hey, babe," I said. "You change your toothbrush?" She barely looked up from her phone. "Oh, that? Yeah. I found an old one in the drawer and figured I'd use it up before tossing it." Huh. Didn't look familiar. She smiled. "You notice everything." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. But something in her tone, it wasn't the words. It was the way she said them. Like someone rehearsing a line they'd practiced in the mirror. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, playing back everything from the past few months. Rachel started coming home a little later than usual traffic, she'd say. Or meetings ran long. Her phone used to live on the nightstand. Now it followed her everywhere, like a shadow. Always face down. Always locked. She laughed more at text messages than at my jokes. And when I hugged her, she felt distant. Like someone standing beside you at the bus stop, polite, but already thinking about their destination. Still, I kept telling myself I was overthinking it. After all, we'd been married 12 years. Maybe this was just a rough patch. People go through seasons, right? But deep down, I knew. I knew because of the way she smiled at nothing when she thought I wasn't looking. I knew because of how she stopped singing in the kitchen while making breakfast. I knew because I started to feel like a roommate with a joint bank account. But I needed proof. So I came up with a plan. Something small. Something simple. The next day, while she was out, I drove to the store and bought a toothbrush, the same brand as the gray one I'd seen. Same shape. Same everything. I replaced the one in the cup with the new one and made sure it sat just slightly crooked. Then I waited. That night, she didn't brush her teeth. The next morning, the toothbrush was gone. Vanished. No mention of it. Nothing in the trash. She'd noticed the change. That's when it hit me. She was watching the toothbrush too. Not because it was old, but because it wasn't hers. And suddenly, I wasn't just suspicious. I was sure. It wasn't the toothbrush that mattered. It was how quickly it disappeared the second I touched it. The house didn't feel like mine anymore. Not in the way it used to. I started noticing more things, how she changed her shampoo, the new shoes I didn't recognize, the way she locked the bathroom door when she showered, even though she'd never done that before. So I started paying attention, tracking when she left, watching who she texted, or rather, how often she didn't let me see. I felt like a stranger in my own marriage. Like I was walking around in a life that didn't belong to me anymore. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. I smiled. I kissed her cheek. I did the dishes, took out the trash, folded the laundry. I played my role. Because now I had a mission. I wasn't just going to ask her if she was cheating. I was going to catch her. I don't know why that mattered so much to me. Maybe because after 12 years of being good to someone, of showing up, paying bills, fixing leaky sinks, and holding them when they cried, you at least deserve the truth. Even if it breaks you. So that was the beginning. A toothbrush. That's all it took. And somehow, I knew it wouldn't end there. After the toothbrush, everything changed. Not for her. For me. She still kissed me goodbye in the morning. Still said, "Love you," when she left for work. Still sent those little heart emojis and texts not too often, just enough to keep things looking normal. But I saw it now. I saw through it. It's like once you notice the crack in the glass, you can't unsee it. Every little thing starts to matter. Every word feels rehearsed. Every smile feels like a cover. And the worst part? She was good at it. Scary good. Rachel had always been smart. Smart in the kind of way that doesn't scream for attention. She listened more than she talked. Knew how to keep things tidy, thoughts, feelings, bank statements. So if she was hiding something, it wasn't going to be obvious. But I'm no slouch either. I'm an operations guy. I work in logistics, warehouses, freight schedules, shipping deadlines. I notice patterns. I track problems. I know when something's off by how it moves. And Rachel had stopped moving like Rachel. She used to call me on lunch breaks just to chat. Now she forgot. She used to come home, kick off her shoes, and tell me about her day. Now she came home tired. Always tired. Like life was something she was enduring, not enjoying. But then, once, when she thought I was asleep, I heard her giggle. Not tired at all. It was past midnight, and I was in bed, eyes closed, body still. Her voice was a whisper, soft and warm. "You're terrible," she said, laughing under her breath. Then silence. Then the soft click of the screen locking. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just listened. A few minutes later, she slipped into bed beside me. I felt the mattress shift. She thought I was out cold. And I let her think that. Because if she could lie to me, I could lie right back. The next morning, I got up early and made pancakes. It's funny what you do when your heart's starting to crack. Some people fight. Some withdraw. Me? I cook. I poured her coffee just the way she liked it, half cream, no sugar. She smiled, thanked me, kissed me on the cheek. I felt nothing. Later that day, I checked our shared phone bill online. She didn't know I still had access. It was all there. Dozens of messages to one number, always around 10 or 11 at night. Some short, some long. One of the calls lasted 42 minutes. Who talks to a friend at 11:27 p.m. for 42 minutes? It wasn't a friend. It wasn't work. It was him. I didn't know who he was yet, but I would. That night, I watched her from across the dinner table. She talked about her day, how her manager was pushing deadlines again, how her coworker forgot to bring coffee for the team, how traffic was a nightmare. I nodded. I smiled. I asked questions. The thing about lying is that it makes you talk more. Honest people keep it simple. But liars? They build stories. They fill in gaps you didn't even ask about. Rachel's stories were getting very detailed. That's how I knew I had her. She told me she was going to be working late Thursday. Big proposal. Deadline. All hands on deck. I said, "No problem. I'll take care of dinner." She kissed me on the forehead. "You're the best." That night, I drove to her office. I parked across the street. Watched the windows. 9 p.m. came. Then 9:30. The office lights went off. A few people trickled out. I waited. No Rachel. 10:05, I saw her. Walking fast. Hair down. Wearing that black coat she saves for special dinners. Not for work. She crossed the street, didn't see me, and got into a car that pulled up just as she reached the curb. I couldn't see the driver, but I saw her smile. Not just a thanks for the ride smile. It was softer, familiar, like the kind she used to give me. They pulled away, and I followed. I stayed back a few cars. They didn't go far, a little bar on the edge of downtown. Cozy, dim lights, live jazz. Not the kind of place you go to discuss business proposals. They went inside. I parked and waited again. They were in there for 2 hours. When she finally came out, she was holding his arm, laughing, leaning in close. It was cold. I could see their breath in the air. I didn't recognize him, tall, clean-shaven, maybe mid-30s. He looked like someone you'd see in a real estate ad. Expensive haircut. Confident walk. They stood by his car for a while, talking. Then she kissed him. Not a quick peck. A real kiss. The kind I hadn't had from her in months. And just like that, I knew. Not suspected. Knew. Rachel was cheating on me. 12 years. Vacations. Mortgage. Inside jokes. Lazy Sundays. Grocery lists. All of it, overshadowed by a guy who probably didn't even know she snorted when she laughed too hard. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I drove home, sat in the dark kitchen, and stared at my wedding photo. We looked so young. So stupidly in love. She came home around midnight. Said she was exhausted. Said the proposal went well. Said she might have to do another late night next week. I nodded. Told her I was proud of her. Then I poured myself a drink and made a plan. Because now it wasn't about knowing. It was about what I'd do with that knowledge. And believe me, I wasn't planning to just sit quietly. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was heartbroken. That part hadn't even settled in yet. I didn't toss and turn or cry into a pillow. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, my mind running like an engine with no brakes. Funny thing about betrayal, it doesn't hurt right away. At first, it's math. Where was she? How long has this been going on? Who is he? Do the kids know? Does anyone else? Then it becomes strategy. What do I do? Do I confront her? Do I leave? Do I expose her? I'd seen enough TV dramas to know the worst thing I could do right now was act emotionally. People make dumb decisions when they go nuclear too soon. And I didn't want to just catch her. I wanted to make sure there was no escape hatch. So, the next morning, I made coffee, just like always. Rachel came into the kitchen in that big gray hoodie she always stole from me. Said she barely slept. That proposal was brutal, she muttered, rubbing her neck. I handed her the mug and nodded. You're amazing, I said. They don't deserve you. She smiled. That same smile she gave him outside the jazz bar. I wanted to throw the mug across the room. Instead, I kissed her on the forehead and said, let's do something fun this weekend. Just us. We need it. She agreed, said she missed us. The nerve. That day, I called a friend of mine, Pete. He used to be a cop. Now he runs a private security business, mostly boring stuff, corporate theft, insurance claims, the occasional cheating spouse. I told him I needed someone discreet, someone who could get photos, maybe even video. He didn't ask questions. You sure you want to go this route? He asked me. No, I said, but I think I have to. He gave me a name, Ray. Quiet guy. Ex-military. Not the kind to gossip or make a scene. Perfect. I met Ray at a coffee shop 2 towns over. He looked like he could disappear into a crowd without trying. I like that. I gave him Rachel's routine, where she worked, what car she drove, her gym schedule, and the name of the jazz bar. I didn't have a full name for the guy yet, but I had the car's silver Audi, Texas plates. Ray nodded like he already knew the ending of the story, but he never said a word. He promised to get back to me within the week. Now, here's where it gets strange. Once I handed it off to him, I felt calm. Not angry. Not even anxious. Just ready. Like I was assembling IKEA furniture with instructions written in betrayal and coffee stains. At home, I started paying closer attention to Rachel. Not her lies. I already knew those. I watched how she avoided eye contact, how she reached for her phone like it was oxygen, how she started wearing perfume on Tuesdays for no reason. She was careful. Too careful. But I was more patient than she was sneaky. By Thursday, Ray sent me a text. Got what you need. Let's meet. I didn't ask questions. We met in the same coffee shop. He handed me a manila envelope. Old school. I respected that. Inside were photos. Rachel, smiling, laughing, holding hands with him across the table, then kissing, then walking into a motel. The timestamp hit me in the chest. That was the same night she told me she had food poisoning and couldn't make dinner. Ray had also run the guy's plate. His name was Eric Foster. Divorced. Mid-30s. Works in sales for some software company. Lives downtown in a condo. Apparently, Rachel had been seeing him for at least a month. Probably longer. Ray even pulled footage from the motel's parking lot. Same car, same 2 people, checking in just after 9 p.m. and leaving just before 2 a.m. He offered to keep digging. I told him to stop. I had enough. That weekend, I took Rachel to the lake house we used to visit in the early years. She looked surprised, even touched. Said she didn't know I still thought about that place. I told her I wanted to reconnect. She cried a little. Said she'd been feeling distant lately, like we were drifting. The performance was Oscar-worthy. We cooked steaks, played cards, sat by the fire. She even suggested we work on us more regularly. That night, as she curled up against me, I stared at the ceiling again. Just like before. Only this time, I wasn't wondering. I was planning. You see, most people, when they catch their spouse cheating, they go for the big dramatic reveal. Slam the evidence on the table. Shout, I knew it. Throw clothes onto the lawn. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted something quieter, deeper. I wanted her to realize that I'd known all along, and that I hadn't just caught her. I'd watched her. All of it. And I was going to make sure she understood one thing, crystal clear. She didn't leave me. I let her go. The lake weekend changed something. Not in her. In me. For the first time since all this started, I didn't feel like a man unraveling. I felt focused. Like I had stepped outside the story and was watching it happen from the balcony. She smiled more that weekend. Played the role well. Told me how glad she was that I'd suggested it. Said it reminded her of who we used to be. I said nothing, because who we used to be didn't exist anymore. Monday morning, back to reality. Back to toothpaste caps, unread emails, and the hum of her phone lighting up in the dark. That's when I decided to look. Really look. I'd never been the snooping type. I always believed that if you needed to go through someone's phone, the relationship was already over. Turns out I was right. It was 3:12 a.m. when I got up and padded barefoot into the kitchen. Rachel was sound asleep, face buried in the pillow, breathing slow and even. Her phone wasn't on the nightstand, but her bag was hanging on the back of the kitchen chair, unzipped. Inside, tucked between her wallet and a crumpled Target receipt, was the phone. Not her phone. A second one. Black case. Screen cracked in one corner. No fingerprint lock. Just a basic 4-digit code. I tried her birthday. Didn't work. Tried her daughter's birthday. Bingo. The messages loaded slowly. The first one I saw was from Eric. Can't stop thinking about your laugh. There were dozens more. And not just from him. One from a number saved as T. Another from Dan, yoga. Another one, no name, just a heart emoji. I scrolled. Slowly. Carefully. Some were flirty. Some graphic. Some oddly emotional. And suddenly, it hit me. Eric wasn't the only one. He wasn't even the first. There were others. At least 3. Possibly more. One thread went back over a year. One included a hotel receipt. Room 219. Valentine's Day. I remember that day. I had the flu. She brought me soup and said she was sorry we couldn't go out. But she'd gone out anyway. Just not with me. That's when the shaking started, not the angry kind. Not fists or yelling. Just this cold tremble in my chest. Like my body was trying to eject something it couldn't handle. I set the phone down on the counter and stared at it like it might catch fire. This wasn't one affair. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. A system. Rachel was living a second life, right beside me. I remembered all the times she told me she was going for a walk. That she needed space. That work was just a little extra stressful lately. I believed every word. And now I felt like a man who'd been mugged in slow motion. But it wasn't just the cheating. It was what came next. Buried in a message thread from Dan, yoga, was something different. Something off. A photo of me. Taken from behind, I was walking into my office. Timestamp 2:46 p.m. on a Tuesday. I didn't even know the photo had been taken. Then a message. Is he on to us? Rachel's reply. Not yet. But he's been quiet. It's weird. I think I'm losing control of the narrative. I read it 3 times. Not, he's suspicious. Not, I feel guilty. She said I was quiet. And she didn't like it. That was the moment everything clicked into place. Rachel wasn't just cheating. She was managing me. Like a project. She'd been monitoring my mood. Adjusting stories. Scripting herself. Maybe even rehearsing what to say. I wasn't her husband. I was the guy in the way of whatever came next. Suddenly, I thought about the life insurance policy I'd updated 6 months ago. The one she insisted I raise after the scare with my heart. I thought about the pills she sometimes left on the counter when she cooked for me vitamins, she'd say. I thought about how tired I'd been lately. How my stomach had been acting up. How forgetful I'd gotten. No, that's not possible. Rachel wouldn't. Would she? I took the second phone, powered it off, and slipped it into the back of my sock drawer. If she asked, I'd say nothing. Just like she had. The next day, I went to the doctor. Told him I needed a full blood panel. Didn't give a reason. I also called a lawyer. Asked for a meeting. Told them I wanted to know my options. I wasn't ready to file anything, not yet. But I wanted to understand what I could do if this became more than infidelity. The lawyer was blunt. Start making copies, she said. So I did. Bank records. Phone logs. Her calendar. Her emails. Every receipt. Every message I could pull from that second phone. By Friday, I had a folder in my glove box and 2 backups hidden in different places. I wasn't paranoid. I was just prepared. That weekend, Rachel suggested we invite our friends over for dinner. I agreed. Played the part. Chopped onions. Set the table. Opened a bottle of wine. Everyone laughed. Rachel glowed. She looked so convincing, so loving. No one would have guessed that the woman passing around bruschetta had multiple aliases on a burner phone and possibly a backup plan for my funeral. After everyone left, we did the dishes together. She hummed, leaned into me, said, "Tonight felt like us again." I looked her in the eye and said, "Yeah, it really did." And the strangest part? In that moment, I almost believed it. You ever get that feeling like something just snapped in your head? Not loud, not violent, just quiet, like a switch flipped. That's how it felt the night I opened her second phone again. I told myself I was done checking, that I'd seen enough, that I didn't need more proof. But curiosity doesn't care about closure. She was in the shower. I had maybe 10 minutes. I unlocked the phone. Same code, same cracked screen. The usual messages from Eric were there. Some flirty stuff. A few pictures that made my stomach twist. Her in lingerie I'd never seen. Him shirtless. Her kissing the camera. Then I opened the gallery. That's when it hit me. There were photos of me, but not the kind you'd expect. One showed me standing in the kitchen, holding a beer, my eyes half closed. Another one, me slouched on the couch, staring at the TV, an empty whiskey glass on the table. Another, me walking to my car with a tired face and a wrinkled shirt. And then, a close-up, my face, eyes red, mouth slightly open, looked drunk. Only I hadn't been. I remembered that night. I was exhausted from work, yeah, but I hadn't had more than one drink. I'd gone straight to bed. But the picture told a different story. She was building a narrative. That's when I noticed the file folder in the photo album. Log, just in case. I opened it. Screenshots of my text messages, carefully selected, cut short to look worse than they were. Bank statements, with her notes on erratic spending I never made. Photos of a dent in her car with the caption, "Aaron gets aggressive when he drinks." Then a voice memo. I hit play. It was Rachel, pretending to cry, saying, "He's getting worse. I don't know what to do. I'm scared for the kids." She wasn't talking to anyone. It was just her voice, rehearsing, preparing. I sat there, frozen. My own wife, the woman I'd cooked for, protected, loved for over a decade, was building a case against me. Not just cheating, framing. I wasn't supposed to find this. I wasn't supposed to wake up until it was all gone. The money, the house, maybe even my name. She wanted to take everything and leave me looking like the bad guy, a violent husband, an unstable man, a danger to our kids. She wanted custody, control, a clean exit, with the sympathy of the world and the comfort of another man's bed. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. Then I kept scrolling. At the bottom of the folder, a video. It was recorded at a hotel. Same one from earlier photos. The camera was shaking, like she was holding it. The image focused on the bed. Eric, shirtless, again. Rachel, on top of him, laughing, moaning, whispering his name. And then, clear as day, her voice, breathless. He has no idea. I could ruin his life tomorrow if I wanted to. Eric just laughed. He said, "That's kinda hot." They both laughed. That's when I stopped the video. I sat there in silence. My hands didn't shake. My breath didn't quicken. I just sat. And I knew exactly what I had to do. I couldn't confront her. Not yet. She'd twist it. Cry. Say I broke into her private stuff. Make me the villain in her story. She was already preparing for that. So I decided right then. If she wanted war, I'd give her one. But not loud. Not messy. Not like she expected. No. I was going to take my time. She thought she was smart. And to be fair, she was. She planned everything. Kept her lies clean. Set the stage. But she made one mistake. She assumed I'd never fight back. That I'd break quietly. That I'd walk away. She forgot something important. I know her better than anyone. I know how she thinks. How she lies. How she spins truth into fiction and makes people believe it. So I started making my own folder. Digital. Offline. Password protected. I copied everything off her phone. Photos, voice memos, the hotel video. I backed it up on 2 drives. One hidden in my truck. One in my office. I started watching her routine. Not out of curiosity, out of strategy. Where she kept documents. Where she hid spare keys. Where she slipped off to yoga when Eric's car pulled up 5 blocks away. Every move she made, I logged. Because when I confronted her, it wouldn't be with questions. It would be with evidence. And when I did it, she wouldn't see it coming. She wouldn't get to cry her way out of it. There'd be no performance. No rescue. No applause. Just the truth. Laid bare. And for once, she'd be the one backed into a corner. And I'd be the one walking away. I didn't sleep much the week after I found the video. Not because I was broken. Because I was planning. Rachel wasn't the only one who could act. She wasn't the only one who could build a narrative. She thought she was playing chess. But she didn't realize I stopped playing checkers a long time ago. First move? The money. We had 2 joint accounts, the house account and a rainy day fund we both contributed to. I opened a third account in my name only. Slowly, carefully, I started moving the funds. Not in big chunks. Just little amounts here and there. Grocery reimbursements. Gas I never bought. A bonus from work I never got. Transfers she wouldn't even notice unless she was watching every dollar. She wasn't. She thought I was still asleep. Second move? The lawyer. I booked the appointment during her next yoga retreat. She thought she was clever, slipping away for 48 hours to meet Eric in Dallas. I had the photos, the hotel booking, the timestamps. My lawyer didn't even flinch. "Do you want this public?" she asked. "No," I said. "I want it clean. Quiet. Devastating." She smiled. "We can do devastating." We drew up papers. Divorce with costs. Full custody request. Financial compensation for deceit and defamation. Attached were the exhibits, texts, emails, video, voice memos, and my favorite, Rachel's "He's Getting Worse" recording. Third move? The job. Rachel worked in corporate marketing. Her firm had strict moral clauses for client-facing employees. One anonymous email with attachments went to HR. Just facts. Nothing emotional. "I believe your employee, Rachel Taylor, has engaged in conduct that may violate company policy. See attached." Within 72 hours, she was placed on leave for internal review. She came home that day fuming. "They're investigating me." "Can you believe that?" I blinked. "That's awful." She nodded, pacing. "Someone sent them screenshots. It's ridiculous." "Wow," I said, pouring her a glass of wine. "What kind of person would do something like that?" She took the wine, drank it. Had no idea she was holding the glass I'd already toasted to her downfall. Fourth move? Eric. I waited until he was at work. According to LinkedIn, he worked at a boutique software firm. Same building every day. I dropped an envelope at the front desk. Inside, copies of the motel receipts, the video, and a cover note. Typed. No signature. "You're not the only one. You're number 6. She's building a story that ends with you broke, jobless, and legally exposed. Do what you want with this info, but don't say you weren't warned." Eric never replied. But a few days later, Rachel got a text while we were having dinner. She stared at it, frozen, then excused herself to the bathroom. She stayed in there for 45 minutes. When she came out, her face was pale. She didn't speak. That night, she didn't kiss me goodnight. Fifth move? The reveal. Saturday morning, pancakes on the stove, coffee brewing, sun pouring in like nothing was wrong. I sat her down at the kitchen table. Calm. Relaxed. Still wearing my weekend hoodie. "I know," I said. She blinked. "Know what?" "All of it." I slid the folder across the table. Printed evidence. Highlights. Tabs. She didn't open it. She just stared at it like it might explode. "I know about Eric. Dan. The photos. The fake log. The voice recording. The burner phone. The insurance policy." Now she looked at me. Really looked. For the first time in months. I can explain." "No need," I said. "You already explained everything. On camera. On tape. In screenshots. With receipts." She opened her mouth again. I shook my head. "Rachel, you tried to ruin me. You tried to build a case to take everything, the house, the kids, the reputation. You rehearsed your lines, picked your moments, played the part." Silence. "But you underestimated one thing." She swallowed. "What?" "I don't break," I said. "I build." She looked away. Tears formed, but I wasn't buying them. "You'll be served papers on Monday," I said. "My lawyer's already on it. I've moved most of the money. You'll get what you legally deserve and nothing more." She started shaking. "Aaron, please, we can work through this." I stood up. "No, you can work through this." I already did. Quietly. Carefully. While you were playing with fire, I was digging the fire at it. She followed me as I grabbed my coat. "Where are you going?" she asked. I turned at the door. "To get breakfast," I said. "And maybe start the rest of my life." She didn't follow me out. She didn't say goodbye. She just stood there, barefoot in the kitchen, folder still unopened, watching the man she thought was blind walk away with both eyes open.